Vigilant strides with heart, flames in her eyes. Vision so sharp, cutting through lies. Graceful ballerina on world's heavy stage, igniting the truth, turning page after page. Unified fire, light in her veins, kick-starting the engine, breaking chains. Insight on high, she sees through the dark. Pathway revealed, she leaves her mark.
Flame and brilliance, born from the spark. One heart ignited, roaring like a lark. Unified forces making shadows depart. Jen leads us in this grand art.
Her wisdom's a torch, eyes set on the goal. Destiny written deep in her soul. Fire and light, merging so tight. Powers combined to illuminate night. Jen's grace, lifting vision so high. Seeing the world through an eagle's eye. Heartbeats sinking like drums in the fight. Unified essence, burning so bright.
Oh, flame and brilliance, born from the spark. One heart ignited, roaring like a lark. Unified forces making shadows depart. Jen leads us in this grand art. Jen leads us, and born from the
Welcome to the Temple of Visibility. This is a live stream. This is a sacred remembering, a threshold made of light and breath and truth. Before we ask to be seen, we must first make an offering. Because visibility is not our currency. Visibility is our sacred reciprocity, an act of sacred exchange, not a performance to be purchased. In this space, we do not perform to be seen. We offer truth. We offer presence. We offer coherence. And in return, the resonance is real. We are seen. Not liked, not measured, seen. So I invite you now, offer something. It may be your breath, a memory, a name, a tear, a truth that lives behind your eyes. Whatever you offer, offer it fully. Because this is the gate of seeing and we cannot walk through at the present. Visibility is not something we hustle for. It is something we become. By offering who we are in sacred rhythm with the moment that asks for it. Let that settle into your ribcage. Let that rise through your spine. And let that pulse through your voice. You are not seen because you demand it. You are seen because you have become your own witness. Offer before you receive. Truth before you speak. Presence before performance. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing your time, your breath, and your presence. It's a true gift, and I appreciate you so very, very much. There's a thing about being visible and being visible in presence. Being visible to ourselves, first and foremost. And I think that's something that's so very important, something that we miss so much. And we'll talk about a little bit more of that in a little bit. So I hope you've all had a wonderful week. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is EnJen, and I am the creator of Avant-Garde Branding and the founder of Uniqua New Beauty Norm. And I'm on a mission, really simply said, to match the outside to the inside, for there to be this wonderful, beautiful congruence and evolution in the world. So today, this week, we've been through color journeys together, and we're going to have a little bit of a recap and some things about that I'm going to play in a little bit. But I want to talk to something about something that's really important to me. And that is this world of woo, which to me means it's a woven origin of order, something that's within each of our DNAs individually and collectively. It's where we find the sustainability to answer the call of our hearts, the call of service, the call of presence, the ability to be seen fully. There's so much that's important about this to me, but I want to talk about a certain sector of that. That's this spiritual medicine. It's this shaman or Shaw woman, right? One who sees in the dark. So sometimes we don't know what these things mean, and they make us a little nervous, but it really simply means one that sees in the dark. To be a shaman or a Shaw woman means to have sacred practices and relationship with the divine creator and creation within all things. It simply means that you have a deep connection and reverence for the planet, for the sky, for the sun, for the multiverses of the quantum field, for each other. It is the ability to shapeshift into animal or plant as a master of energy. It is time travel. It is conversion with the ancestors. It's transmutation and alchemy. To own and stand in the empowerment of being a medicine woman or man is the vortex and space of energy that you show up in. It's what drives everything that you do with direction, with conviction, with the ability to understand that your intentions create a vortex and that your actions towards those intentions create the grounds that the seed of your intentions grow in. To heal and transform our lives and to unlock the deepest potential within others. It's one of the most ancient forms of spirituality, spiritual medicine, and mysticism in record. And it's been practiced all over the world far longer than many things that we are easily familiar with. These stories are told on cave walls, and they're handed down through the millennia, through those that know, through those that understand, through those that have practiced. These depictions tickle along the synapses of our intuitive knowing, and they bring forth a likeness of many ancient forms of record keeping and care for one another. Understanding that a storm is on the way, knowing what direction the wind is blowing, without a blade of grass or a single tree leaf being present to tell you that. It's a cherished code, and it's inscribed within, and it outwardly presents through this sacred channel of inner knowing that's woven through this infinite existence. And when these scrolls are brought to life within you, within your own DNA, no permission is needed to be the bridge between worlds. You just simply are. There are 3 ways that are recognized. In the past, it was believed that you chose, or that you had to choose to incarnate. That before you were even born into physical existence, you knew and you chose. And this was something that was recognized by spiritual elders of the tribes. And upon birth, they would raise you forward and up, and you would be brought through the ways of the community by these elders. Then there was an initiation, a process of facing all of your fears, your darkest fears, and overcoming them. And then there was this calling that so many were transformed in this way, the calling that when you've had a near-death experience, that was the mark. A profound mark that was being asked and recognized for transformation. And now there's choice. There's choice. You can choose to bring the formless into form. You can choose to communicate in different channels in different ways. You can choose to recognize your energy and send it out with intention to heal, to show the way, to be a light, to be a tough lesson for yourself and for others. There's so many ways. I know so many of you, my friends, have these deep knowings and these deep beliefs and these deep connections within yourself. Sometimes it's scary, and sometimes it's trying to have these connections inside of your business, through your business, and how you show up in the world, how you talk about it, not just among the safe table where others know what it is that you're talking about, but the courage to speak no matter who it is that's looking or who has come to sit at your table. It's a knowing that not just you, but everyone in your realm has to carry your vision, has to understand what the intention is. It's coming together before a board meeting and breathing together. This is biological just as much as it is anything else. It takes a good 45 seconds, 2, 3 breaths. To leave behind what it is that you're coming into a conversation with, into a room with. And if anybody ever, at any point in time, is triggered or uncomfortable, it takes 45 seconds, to stop and take that breath takes 45 seconds of breathing intentionally to stop the cortisol that's dumping into your body that heightens whatever that trigger was. To truly grow an ethos that matches what it is that you want when you yourself are a piece of the universe having an experience, especially when it's a deeply rooted and from a heart-centered, soul-centered space. These practices are imperative for you to have the success that it is that you want. It's important for you to come together, break bread, breathe, meditate. Because that's sustainability. That is tapping into natural sustainability, which eradicates imposter syndrome, fatigue, not knowing if somebody understands you or not knowing if your vision's really being carried or not. All of those things fall to the wayside when we practice these things. It's a relationship that we enter a great reverence with ourselves, our businesses, our conversations, the people that are in our communities, or an extension, a sentient extension. But you're the channel for your business. Your business needs you to stop and take its breath for it. It needs you to stop and speak life over it. Throw me something, some kind of something, so I know that you hear what I'm saying and you understand what it is that I'm saying. It's a very beautiful, intimate journey, your business. And it grows you like nothing else. Nothing else will grow you. Stillness is something that we will practice here on EnJen the Heart a lot. For those of you that are just coming in, as this is only in episode 3, different than the other spaces I've filled, different than what some of you may know, and what others of you have known all along, those of you that have worked with me. So part of that is also that there's pre-recorded things and live segments. And I have another pre-recorded. I'm going to take us through that right now. And we're going to do a color recap. And then we're going to go through an Oracle Riff. Then we're going to talk about a few little exciting things that I'm doing and that I have to show and share with you all. So take a nice deep breath. That's all you ever have to do to be present, right? Just take a nice deep breath. That's it. And here is the final color recap. Aura disruptor, color as resistance, the color pilgrimage of the last 5 days. Thank you so much for those of you that participated. Before we step into green, we must remember how we arrived. These colors weren't worn, they were walked, each one a vibration, a breath, a precious permission. Magenta said, "You can no longer pretend that you do not see me." It was the fire at the threshold, the loud truth, the holy audacity of presence. Magenta doesn't ask for space, she demanded it, and in doing so, we saw ourselves.
So this is an interpretive look at it.
Orange was becoming
realistic, though there will be realistic pieces, but the black
melted our paralysis. It burned through doubt with
this pepper and the orange.
This wasn't the orange of performance. This was volcanic courage, and yes, to become something wilder than plans could hold. And it dared us to show up even when it made others flinch. And then there was the yellow radiance, solar yellow of audacity. That joy is not optional. Laughter is a spiritual force. Brightness is resistance. We didn't wear yellow. We let it wear us like the sun wears the morning. We chose not to shrink just because we were shining. And blue, the unmasking. Blue whispered not because it was weak, but because it was trusted in its own depth. We softened. We let the voice tremble. We let truth exist without the need to be explained. You taught us that vulnerability is a valid frequency of being seen. And today, day 5, green, the rooted radiance, and now we arrive in green. The breath of the forest, the unbothered rhythm of being. Green doesn't audition. Green doesn't posture. Green says, I do not reach for attention, I root into truth, and from there I bloom. These colors were not decoration, they were remembrance. And in green we do not add more, we arrive whole, visible, and rooted. Let us prepare for the ritual of becoming visible without apology. A special shout out and thanks to a couple of people, Dana Fortune, that participated in the Magenta, and a special shout out to Nick, the gifted bipolar writer and guiding brilliant writers, host of the author behind the pen, who shared and participated, and especially yesterday on the day of Blue, shared her own vulnerabilities and experience of her life. And so we send love to you, Nick, and to your family, and to your family member that is ill, your 4-legged family member that is ill. And Sharon Byrne, who has shared and participated in every day in the yellow you shined. And I appreciate you especially. All of you so much. Thank you. Welcome to all this representing hue parts from the edge and the color filters. It is not just color, it is crossing. And today, welcome to the Verdant Threshold. Today, I'm not making myself beautiful. I am returning to what has always been luminous in me. I began with moss in the inner corner eye, where truth begins, where instinct sees language before it forms. This green is ancient and it has no filter. It asks only, can you be with what it is? On the outer lid, I place the emerald shadow, not to seduce the gaze, but to protect the root. This is not performance. This is warding. This is I will not shapeshift to be seen. Along the lash line, I swept gold-veined greens, because even our vulnerability deserves to gleam. My visibility is not for consumption, it is my auric inheritance, and I choose how it is received. And I'm going to finish with a gloss over the lid, a mint shine, a signal that I am permeable, but not penetrable. I will not become transparent to prove I'm worthy of being known. This is my verdant threshold. I do not reach for light. I carry it. I do not need to be proven real because I am rooted in truth and motion. And you may see me now, but only because I choose to bloom. Thank you for coming on this color pilgrimage with me. And it's not over yet. There's more to come. So stay tuned to see what the next challenge is going to be. Welcome to the Oracle's Riff. This is the gaze that steals you. So let's talk about it. Visibility. We've made it the altar. We've made it the goal. We've made it the drug. But here's the truth. That the algorithm will absolutely not like. Not all visibility is sacred. Some of it is a trap, a spotlight that looks like love but burns like performance anxiety. A gaze that stills you while convincing you that you're still being seen. Let us roast. Performance culture dressed as purpose. Be visible, they say. Be authentic, they demand, while scrolling past your truth to like your dance room. We've been out here creating content like spiritual vending machines. Swipe here for entertainment and enlightenment. Add to the cart for self-worth. Link in my bio for my slow nervous system breakdown. We're posting vulnerability on a schedule. We're branding our breakdowns. We're performing rawness in 4K. And the wildest part is we call it freedom. The mirror is where we all got hooked. But let's be real. It's not just them. It's us. It's us. I have stared at my own face through a camera lens longer than I've looked into a mirror without critique. I have posted things that I didn't even feel because they performed well last time, because the metrics said so. And I've asked to be seen and offered a mask to make it easier to watch. But if we can shift with sacred visibility and exhibitionism, right? So let's draw the line in the gold dusted sand right now. Visibility that costs you your breath is just exposure. Visibility that demands performance is not presence. It's performative art. And exhibitionism is when you're on display. Visibility. Because the truth is that your visibility isn't owed to anyone. It's not a currency. Your visibility is a compass. And no one can walk your map but you. So whether you're feeling radiant or wrecked this week, you are still rooted, and you are still real, and you are still in the temple. I'm still working, of course, on the pre-record and some of it being audible to me, but then I don't think it's very audible as it's played. So I want to go back and I want to read and say the Oracle Riff now loudly where you can hear me. So we're talking about visibility. We've made it the altar. We've made it the goal. We've made visibility a drug. But the truth is that not all visibility is sacred. Some of it is a trap. A spotlight that looks like love but burns like performative anxiety. A gaze that stills you while convincing you that you are being seen. Be visible, they say. Be authentic, they demand, while scrolling past your truth to like your dance reel. We are creating content like spiritual vending machines. Swipe here for enlightenment. Add to the cart for self-worth. Link is in my bio for my slow nervous system breakdown. We're posting vulnerability on a schedule, and we brand our breakdowns, and we perform our rawness in 4K. High resolution. And we are calling it freedom. I have stared at my own face through a camera lens longer than I've looked into a mirror without critique. I have posted things that didn't feel right because they performed well in the past. I've asked to be seen, and I've offered mask after mask after mask to make it easier to watch. So I wanted to repeat that loudly so there's no question about what was said, because it's so very important. And I'm asking you all to draw a line in the gold-dusted sand with me. Do you understand that visibility that costs your breath is just exposure? Visibility that demands performance is not presence. It's performance art. Exhibitionism is being on display. Real visibility is when you are in alignment. You don't owe the world your insides, and you don't need to turn your truth into a TED Talk. You don't need to show it all to prove that you're real. We get asked, are you human? By algorithms, by phone lines that want to know that we're not a robot. Select the pictures with the bicycles. Select all the pictures with a motorcycle, so that when you get confused about the two, they can ask you to look at a magical script that's flowing that I can never decipher correctly, because what I see is never right. And we do that every day. To be seen, to be visible, to have our needs met. We put the burden of that on each other. We put the burden of that on our clients. We put the burden of that on our marketing. We put the burden of that on our business. And it just doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. So if you're feeling unseen or feeling unheard, start with your breath. Start with sharing that with yourself in the mirror. And don't step away until you love yourself. That takes time. We tell ourselves. But do you know that if you literally just sat down in front of a mirror, just sat down in front of the mirror and stared deep into your own eyes, it really doesn't take that long before you see yourself, who you really are, and fall in love with that person. All right, my beautiful, radiant anomalies, and sacred signal bearers. We have crossed the threshold. We've heard the riff. And I want to share something with you all, a little drawing, if you will. So this is something that is the Oracle of Heart, and that is me. Well before I was EnJen to Heart, well before I was Lady Uniqua even, I was Oracle of Heart. And I've been working on something behind the scenes. And that is an actual deck. And it's called the Iconoclastic Vision deck. And this is the outside of each card will look like this. And I drew a card today. With this comes a journal. It comes symbolism. Comes with great deep meaning. This particular card is the icon persona. A grand theater stage stands before an audience, cloaked in shadow, their eyes fixed on the single spotlight illuminating the center, and a row of intricately designed masks sit on velvet pedestals, and each mask exudes a different energy, power, elegance, mystery, rebellion. And a figure approaches the pedestal, and their silhouette is fluid and it's undefined, and they reach for a mask, not to conceal, but to amplify. The moment the mask touches their face, their posture shifts, their presence commands the space, and the whispers in the audience quiet. They are no longer just a presence on stage. They are a character, an icon, a story unfolding. And they step forward, embodying their role fully, not lost in illusion, but shaped by intention. And the world will remember not just the mask, but the energy behind it. The core symbolism of this card is that the mask stands for curated identity, the facets of your personal self and brand. The spotlight is visibility, public perception, stepping into presence. The stage is the platform from which the story is told. And the audience and shadow are the people watching for authenticity. And the figure in transition is defining it and owning one's own persona. To interpret this card in branding and business upright, it would mean, and it did come in upright, that your brand is a performance, not in authenticity, but intentional storytelling. You have control over how people experience you. Shape it consciously. Step in to the larger than life version of yourself that aligns with your vision. Visibility requires confidence in the character that you create. Sometimes things are outside of alignment, and this could mean these things. A fear of visibility is keeping you and your brand from standing out. You may be protecting an identity that does not align with your essence. You may be avoiding clarity in your persona and creating confusion in your audience instead. You may be trying to be everything, diluting the power of a singular iconic presence that only you can bring to life. So define your character with precision and presence. What 3 words would define you and how you want to be perceived? Are you a bold? Are you a visionary? Are you magnetic? Are you charismatic? What parts of your story should be amplified for impact? If you feel so enthralled, write a 1-line descriptor of your iconic persona. I am a visionary architect transforming personal brands into immersive cinematic worlds. From my deck, I can now show the card and let the cat out of the bag about this deck that I'm creating that is this close to being tangible and beautifully created, which is something I'm super excited to share because it's been a year. It's been a year, and I think that that's pretty damn iconic. So I'm super excited about that. When the lights dim and the world watches, and you step into the spotlight not as a mask, but as a message. Your vision scrolls will become more than just a prediction. They become permission slips to stop performing for acceptance and start embodying your intentional mythology, your story. That is the icon persona. That is you. And as we come into the last few minutes of today's live stream. And do just a little recap, right? We've stood in the temple of visibility. We've crossed the verdant thresholds. We've remembered that visibility is not performance, that it's alignment, that it is permission. Your breath became your offering, your presence became your platform, and your myth is in motion. You are never too much. You are never not enough. You are simply unrooted in the truth of your own design. Now, I want you to feel free to walk out of this portal like a sovereign storm of softness. Be seen without shrinking, speak without spectacle, bloom without broadcasting, and let others witness you. But let you be the one that sees yourself first. This has been EnJen to Heart. This has been a life stream. This was a mirror and a portal and of remembering. I will meet you again next week inside the temple that we've built and outside of the temple that we haven't built yet, but already know. Thank you for the masterpiece that is you. And we will see you next week.
Her wisdom's a torch, I set on the goal. Destiny written deep in her soul. Fire and light merging so tight. Powers combined to illuminate night.
Jenna's grace lifting vision so high. Seeing the world through an eagle's eye. Heartbeat sinking like drums in the fight. Unified.